Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. If you'd like to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And I'd really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up on this video as well. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays when I go live around 4 p.m. Central Time, sometimes 4:15 Central Time. Or outside of my live stream, you can consider joining the Discord I've created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. That is a great place for you guys to see some of the meals and recipes that I've been enjoying as I've been working towards my goal of losing 300 pounds. Today is day 901 of my challenge, and so far, through a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, I've been able to lose 250 pounds so far. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing those as well. If you are struggling with your diet, let us know what's going on, what might be causing your struggles. And if you're succeeding with your diet, let us know what you're doing to succeed so we can share it with everybody else. And at the end of the day, what are some things that you are doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's see here. Let me switch over to the main here. Hello. So I think this white shirt that I am wearing is throwing my camera off. It's bugging me a little bit. It feels like the screen's darker, and the only thing I can think of is it's this reflection of the white off of my shirt is causing my camera to like auto change the lighting. I'm gonna try to like get out of the camera and see if it changes the way it looks here real quick. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it'll be fine. It's not a big deal, but it's just, I'm wearing a shirt I have not worn before. I talked about, we got a collection of shirts from somebody that had lost some weight, and these were the shirts that were too big for them. And so when we got these, they were actually too small for me, and now it actually fits. I can show you, I guess. Nice that it's here. So yeah, it's and I don't think I've ever worn a white shirt like this before. Usually I have darker color clothing on, so to wear something white is a little bit odd for me as well. A bunch of people checking in here. Cindy saying hi. Pretty girl's mom, hello. Our tiny acres. Carrie, Cindy, I already said Cindy. Hello, everybody. Cindy says, looking sharp. Thank you. Did you get the better fitting pants yet? No, I've been busy at work. I have not had a chance to even go shopping or looking for pants, but I do need to get some better fitting pants. I have been also these are actually pants that we must have bought a long time ago that are still pretty big. They're really big on me. When I got these shirts, I got a few pairs of pants, and I wear those every now and then, but those are actually too big for me as well. So I do need to go get some new pants. Yes. Our Tiny Acre says you avoid white because you'll stain it. Yes, that's a big thing that used to be an issue for me And I'm sure that the foods that I'm eating now could stain, but um, it's not near as bad as it was when we were eating all that oil and the grease. You know, it when I think of stains, it makes me think of this first day photo that I didn't realize when I took this photo that I have this huge stain right in the middle of my chest. I think you could probably see it on there, but that was not an uncommon thing for me to have a stain somewhere on my shirt because of the food that I was eating and just being messy. Um, and so, yeah, I, uh, just thinking about what we were, what we eat, the oatmeal wouldn't really stain it. The broccoli and potatoes wouldn't really stain it. Maybe our dinners, I'll have to worry about, but, I like the shirt. I like the fit of it. And, I'm happy that it fits now because, like I said, when we first got it, this clothing didn't really fit, and so I'm getting through it, and eventually I'm gonna have to start buying more new stuff. So let me go ahead and pull up food since yesterday. Give me a second here. I don't even know what we had. Oh, Carrie, we had rice and some stuff last night. It was actually really good. Again, it was food that probably wouldn't stain my shirt. Let me go ahead and get a photo of it. The vegetables look a little sad in this photo because they sat on the counter a little bit before I had a chance to eat dinner. Here we go. It's not working. What did I do wrong? Let me try that. Yeah, so it should be working now. But last night we had some brown rice and then some roasted vegetables that we threw in the oven. The carrots, the zucchini, there was some marinated mushroom, asparagus, and then the broccoli was actually steamed broccoli I put on there, and there was a little bit of cauliflower in there as well. So that actually might be a little bit better photo. You can see a little bit of mix of everything that was in there, and then I took it all and I mixed it up. Yeah, they were roasted veggies and rice is what we had for dinner last night. And it was really good. I ended up having this bowl of it and then another small bowl with a little bit less rice and more of the vegetables. But it was great just having that mix of flavors with the zucchini and the carrot and the marinated mushroom really added to it. I was worried when I was putting it together that not having a sauce in it or having some sort of seasoning in it that I wouldn't enjoy it, and that was not the case at all. I really liked it just this way. Like I said, the marinated mushroom really give it a lot of great flavor, and then having that broccoli really helped in there as well. Then today for food, I started my day off with a bowl of oatmeal, our standard savory oatmeal with the mix of steel cut oats and oat groats with mushrooms, onions, and spinach. Followed by, or preceded by, I didn't take a photo of it, but I also had a bag of broccoli this morning as well that I did not take a photo of. And then for lunch, I had a bunch of potatoes with broccoli. And then the seasoning that I put on my food for lunch was that Sunrise by Tabitha Brown. And so we really liked that Table Tasty. We had bought this Sunrise by Tabitha Brown to see if we liked it or not. And we kind of went back and forth, but when we got the Table Tasty again, I had that for a few days and I didn't eat this seasoning. But I really like this Sunrise season. I think it's called Sunrise. It's got a real spice to it. It's got a real kick to it. So after I got done eating, it kind of had that lasting effect or affected my food afterwards. Cindy says, did you use any California balsamic on the rice and roasted veggies? I did not, but that would have been something good to put on there. Carrie might have put a vinegar on there. We have not ordered the California balsamics for a little while. We've just not thought about it, I guess, or not really felt like putting the order together. But it's Sunshine. I said Sunrise. It's Sunshine by Tabitha Brown. And so, but yeah, the California balsamics would have been really good on that last night for sure. But like I said, it's surprising to me how wonderful these flavors in the foods, the natural foods are, that I don't need to be adding, oil to them or salt to them or anything, any sauces. I can just eat them as they are. The first time that surprised me was with the salads. For the very long time, our salads, we used a mustard dressing that we made and really kind of covered up the taste of the salad. And at the time, I felt like it was making the salad more palatable. And then Cindy Davis, thank you so much. Super chat donation of $49.99. Treat yourself to some California balsamic. We will have to pick some up. I appreciate that so much. That is great. Thank you. Carrie says that she used the Neapolitan balsamic from a place near us on the mushrooms. That's what she marinated the mushrooms in last night that we had in that food. But I've just been finding that I don't need those sauces like I have needed with every other food I've ever eaten my whole life, and there's so much of this diet that is me kind of retraining my brain to eat differently than I was originally trained to eat, and just eating the rice with vegetables without a sauce or eating a salad without a dressing in it. It seems so foreign to me, but in reality, it's not that odd, and it should be more generally accepted, I guess. Carrie says that she's going to have to get on and order some today. She was on the Well Your World site today, ordering some seasonings, and all of the salt substitutes were all out of stock. Oh, that's too bad. I didn't know that you were looking that up and they were out of stock. So, yeah, we'll have to invest our money into the balsamics. And I have a coworker here that was interested in getting some of those balsamics as well. So we'll have to get a few bottles of that and get them ordered and headed this way. I'm trying to think of what we were using those on so much. We were just putting them in the broccoli and potatoes instead of using the Table Tasty or the Sunshine by Tabitha Brown. That's what we're mostly using the California balsamics for, and then using them in our recipes as well. So, that's great. Let's see. Yes, we'll have to try the Well Your World another day. Maybe if they post that they get on there. Tennyson Yoga Girl says, hello, better late than never. Absolutely, Tennyson Yoga Girl. Thanks for checking out the stream. I feel that way about finding a plant-based diet. It took me 38 years to figure out eating this way. And, it's better late than never figuring it out. Because on the course I was headed, I don't know how many years I had left. Hey, Janet, checking in. Hello. Hope you're having a great day. Carrie says she really misses the curry balsamic. Yes, absolutely. That is definitely one we're going to have to pick up with our order. I think the coworker of ours really liked the teriyaki or the hickory, I think was another one. Janet says it's a great day out there. It's rainy and cold, but you're getting lots done. That's awesome. We had a storm just kind of blow through quick and rained really hard here, but the weather's been getting better. It's getting to be that springtime. Yeah, Janet says that the curry is so good, it's almost too good. Yes, absolutely. It can be, yeah, it's really good and definitely helps with the palatability of some foods. So, or it changes the palatability of the food. So, today's title here is Be a Lighthouse and Not a Tugboat. Sorry, I had to move my mic. It was bugging me. So I actually got this from a video I saw the other day, and they were talking about a doctor. I think it was even a plant-based doctor that had used this phrase, to be a lighthouse and not a tugboat. And I thought it was a really interesting saying because it's something where it's eating this way and the changes that I've made in my life and the improvements that have happened in my health because of these changes make me want to influence everybody around me. You know, I made a comment today to a family member, or maybe it was yesterday. I was like, just when is everybody going to get the hint that this is what you can do to lose weight? There's so many different things that I've tried in the past, and I have siblings or cousins or aunts or uncles or family members that have tried all of these things, and they all end up leading us to the same place, this temporary success followed by catastrophic failure. And I've never been more sure that something is eating this way is better than the other options. I really can't find anything that makes this diet difficult for me at this point. I mean, it was difficult to get to this point, and it's not easy, but the results that I'm seeing are awesome. And having that, the 5-pound weight loss this week and the 4-pound weight loss the week before really boosts my confidence even more and makes me want to be even more pushy and trying to get people to eat this way and make the changes in their life that I know if they made, they would get rid of all of those, so many of those things that have been plaguing them for years. But it's such a tough position to be put in, because you can put all that effort into trying to push somebody one way or tugging them another way. But if they don't want to change, if they don't want to do it, then they aren't going to do it. It's a decision that everybody has to make for themselves. Even if you think you can push them, they can't, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? And the same way with this diet. You can lead them here, you can show them, but you can't make them do it. It's difficult, seeing those people, and even like auxiliary people, not even close fit, it's really difficult seeing close family members, not do it, but it's even somewhat difficult with strangers or acquaintances or people that, seems like there's a lot of conversations I've had with people recently where they were discussing their medical conditions for some reason, whether it's they're having issues with their some physical issue or issue with their digestion, or some issue with, so many different things, so many different conditions that I wish I could, like, in my head, my first thought goes to it's your diet. Like, we just accept that food is food, and if it's in front of us, then the FDA approved it, so it must not harm us. I feel like that's the idea that people get, or that they have an impression they have about food, and so they don't see it the same way that I see it. I've cleaned up my diet. I would say that there's very few people that eat a cleaner diet than I eat, or that me and Carrie eat. And by eating this clean diet, it's yielded incredible results for myself. And like I said, I want to go out and I want to get everybody to try it, like, give it a shot. And I get great comments of people. There was somebody commented on a video today talking about their results on, eating this way. They, after 6 years eating a whole food plant-based diet, they've lost 100 pounds. And now they're going into their 7th year doing this, eating this way. And there's so many examples of people that are out there that have made the switch, have lost the weight, and have kept it off. But it's, like I said, it's impossible to make anybody change. And so what I have to settle for is being a good example. And I think that, striving to be a good example, or to be that lighthouse, to be that beacon, the lighthouse is going to be there showing you the light, showing you where the shore is, but it's the captain of the boat to decide whether or not he wants to follow that light, or what choice he wants to make. And so all I can do is sit here on this platform and talk about, how it's benefited me, and how it's more sustainable for me than any other way of eating. And it feeds into my natural instincts to eat a large volume of food. I've always wished that I could eat less food, because I thought if I could eat less food, then I would lose weight. And what I had to realize is that I had to eat different food and not eat less food. I had to change the buffet line I was standing in, or I had to change the options that I had in front of me. And that those changes would help so many people, but you have to let them come to you. And you have to, and in order to get them to come to you, or to do what you're doing, when you're in front of them, you have to be a great example. Like, that's something that, we travel a lot for family functions, or we do family events locally. And especially when we travel for family functions, it would be very easy for us to take a holiday from our diet, or to eat things that are off plan, or to be okay with that. But those family members that only see us occasionally, and then see that we lost weight, they're going to ask us how we lost weight. And I would gladly say I eat a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. And I think it would be great. I think everybody would benefit from eating this way. But what I say is not near as important as my actions. If I am saying that I eat this way, but then I'm on a food holiday in front of them, and I allow myself to eat something that's off diet, then it puts the wrong impression in their head that they can eat, well, that person lost 100 pounds and they got to eat Oreos. And that isn't how you lost the 100 pounds. You're not setting a good example when you're in front of them. And, this past Easter, I almost made a point to eat a huge volume of food in front of my family, because I want them to be like, John lost 250 pounds in the last 2.5 years, and he still got to eat nearly as much food as we ate. It was just different food. It looked different. It tasted different, but the volume of it was the same. I was satisfied just the same. Carrie says that it's tough to watch people you love making decisions that are causing them harm. Yeah, and it's tough. I was on a really destructive path for a lot of years, and there was nothing that would really get me. There was nothing that was shaking it out of me. And so many times I think that we're waiting for some sort of terminal diagnosis to be our motivator to get something done. Like if I never went to the doctor, but I know if I would have gone to the doctor and the doctor said, hey, you're pre-diabetic or you're diabetic, then I would have used that as my I need to do something moment. Or if you go to the doctor and they tell you that you're suffering from heart disease and you have only X number of months or weeks projected to live, then you start getting motivated to do something. And I felt like that's where I was. I was waiting for something bad to happen to motivate me to do something. And I'm so happy that, it wasn't any one thing that made me do this, but there was a lot of health issues that were accumulating that caused me to really reevaluate or self-evaluate what was going on and decide that I needed to do something here. And so it's difficult though. It's so difficult, like Carrie said, to watch them, but you just have to be a good example. You have to show them that with proper planning, you can have just as much fun and you can enjoy a night, or sometimes even enjoy it more than they can enjoy it. And that's something that it wasn't intentional, but recently we were at a birthday party and I was able to interact with the kids and play with the kids and have what I would say outwardly appeared to have more fun than some of my relatives that are overweight. And, and I would have been with them not having that fun with the kids had I still been 520 pounds. But because I lost the weight, I could show that I was, I was able to do things I wouldn't have been able to do before. Let's see here. Jean says here that they want to hang on to their false beliefs and the diet intimidates them. Yeah. And I was thinking about that a little bit in a different mindset is what's happening with the keto diet and what this popularity that this low carb diet has developed over years and years has seen people losing small amounts of weight or losing weight for a few weeks, few months. And, maybe some of those people are able to hold on to that weight loss. But, I don't know of a lot of examples where somebody was 500 pounds and they ketoed themselves to a healthy weight and then maintained that healthy weight once they got down to that weight. But the media and the press is really, I feel like, pushing and the diet. I think that the gyms love the keto diet because it keeps people coming back to the gym. The food manufacturers love it because it gives them a whole brand new line of products to sell. And the result of it is that people aren't really having a lot of success, but there's this false message in the world that you can have success, or that's the way to be successful. So if people are trying to be moderately healthy, then they go to a moderately low carb diet and be like, well, those keto people are doing something right. Maybe I'll get my burger without a bun on it today, and that I feel like is such a bad message, and it just harms us more, because I don't believe that a keto diet is sustainable. I think that you can be on a keto diet for a while, but I don't know of people that are staying on it and sticking to it forever. I don't know them personally. I've had family members that have done it. I've tried doing low carb diets, but it was kind of before like keto was a thing. But nobody I know had, like I said, nobody I know has ketoed themselves to a healthy weight. And even if they were eating keto diet, I don't believe that they were using diet alone. Many times they're using diet and a gym membership to lose weight. And so then they, I'd love to hear examples if people know of somebody who lost 200 to 300 pounds eating a low carb diet, and then 3 years later has still kept the weight off and is been able to do it without great effort. That's something that I almost titled the stream today talking about, I did a workout today. It was the first time I've done a workout or a physical thing in a long time. And what it was is that I had physical therapy this morning, and it was kind of it was my final physical therapy appointment. It was my final physical therapy appointment for my rehab of my right distal bicep tendon that I had surgery on at the end of December. And to kind of finish out my last day or my last session, we actually did a physical workout. All of my physical therapy up to this point has almost been silly because my ability has been beyond what he could have me do. And then today he kind of didn't really push me too hard, or I could have pushed it harder, but I just had to do some functional things with weights today. And it was kind of like a mini workout. I feel like I got my muscles puffed up and feel like a Superman for a little bit after doing the workout. But it was just real simple stuff. He had this box that had it was like 46 pounds in total weight, that I had to pick the box from the ground and put it on a shelf that was at about belly button height, and then take that same box and put it on a shelf that was about chest high or sternum height or whatever, collarbone height. And then I had to push a sled, pull a sled, and do a farmer's carry. But I actually ended up, probably getting my heart rate up a little bit and doing a little bit of actual activity. And I got a little soreness from doing it, just using some muscles that I was letting kind of relax, I suppose. So I did my first workout in probably my first workout in 300 days. I bet that was the first time I worked out in 300 days. No, 600 days. It's been since like day 300 that I worked out. So it was the first time I worked out in 600 days. Let's see here. Davila says that, hi everyone, keto is not normal. Yeah, I think that ketosis is something that is a natural, part of the human body that we can go into ketosis. But I think that people are using it in a weird way. I believe that our bodies were designed to live off of a low carb diet in times when food was scarce, like in the spring or in the winter, and then right as the spring is starting. And so we can go into ketosis, and eating meat keeps us in ketosis. So if we were in an environment where the only food around was a rabbit, we wouldn't knock ourselves out of ketosis. But I think that the default is a glucose burning machine or a carbohydrate burning machine. And so when you try to run on the secondary fuel for longer than your body would have to in nature, I think that's it's not, they're not using it the right way. They're not using it in, it's and it makes it so difficult, like, because you can't easily transition from being in ketosis and out of ketosis. It's almost like in a violent event each time, and many people's toilets can attest to that. But yeah, it's not the keto is not the default, and if you aren't able to run on the default setting, then why would it be the default setting? And so I really think that it's really crazy. Let's see. Carrie says that she thinks the biggest selling point of this diet to people in their 40s and up has to be the amazing blood work. And Pretty Girl's mom says that she agrees, as well as Jean. And she says she's feeling great and energetic is a really good thing. Jennifer Diamond says that she couldn't agree more. Proof is in the blood work, and we can't argue that. Yeah, I think that, I've had really good blood numbers since switching to this diet. I'm probably due to get blood work done sometime soon. But, Jennifer here says, yay, congrats on your first workout. Soreness is the best feeling. If you ask me, it is kind of a nice feeling. And it actually, just doing that, kind of motivated me to do a couple push-ups, while I was here to see if I could do push-ups or if it would hurt my arm or not. I was able to do a couple push-ups. And then I had mentioned the other day that I did a little kind of light jog in my yard, and had kind of noticed that, it makes that the 40 pound, I was probably 40 to 50 pounds heavier the last time I did any running. And so the other day I did a short run. And then last night I ran, I had taken my dog to dog training, and I had to run back out to the car. And so I actually ran from the door to the car, and got a little mini workout, just little itty bitty, micro workouts is what I'm doing. Not actual full workouts, just micro workouts, or anyways. Plants Only Muncher says, hello, checking in late. No, it's great to have you here, Plants Only Muncher. Hoping you're having a great day. Thank you, Sarasota, Florida. Jennifer says, congratulations on your first. Yeah, I already read that. Yes, thank you so much. So with the Lighthouse tugboat, it's tough. Even with my physical therapist today, he was talking to me about his wife, and she was having some health issues, and they were going from doctor to doctor, and they had found a new doctor that he was really excited that they were seeing, because they were looking at more markers within their blood work than just the standard markers, and that the doctor was taking a more holistic approach to her treatment than the previous doctors were. And I didn't get an opportunity to push it, but one of the, I like to try to recommend books to people. That's probably something that I've done more in the last 901 days than I had ever done previously in my life, is recommend books for people to read. Because to me, it's kind of like, well, if you're not going to take my word for it, maybe you'll take this doctor's word for it. And one of the books that I would recommend I thought to recommend to him was Neil Barnard's book, Your Body in Balance, because he had mentioned some of his wife's issues were hormonal issues, maybe progesterone was one of the words he used, and some other things. And so, but I didn't get an opportunity to recommend to him, but that's what I, would have done, is to try to give them, that roadmap to where I'm going by, look at this book. A book I absolutely recommend to people is The Pleasure Trap book. I really enjoyed what that book talks about. Dr. Fuhrman's book, is it Eat to Live? I really enjoyed that book. But, I think that the nice thing about these books that I've read is that if I get a good enough feel from the person I'm talking to, that a different book might be better for a different person. If you, like I said, if, somebody that's having hormonal issues, reading a book like Your Body in Balance might be better than reading another, How Not to Die. Or if somebody who's, worried about losing weight, How Not to Diet might be a better book for them to read than The Proof is in the Plants. It just depends on the person. And for me, having that resource to pull from my pocket and be like, well, check out this other person's thing, helps to kind of deflect some of the responsibility, I guess, but also, like I said, so many times they're just not going to take my word for it. And it's frustrating because I've lost so much weight and they still won't take my word for it. But it's what it is. Jennifer here says that she just loaned Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease to a friend struggling with heart disease, and it was surprisingly accepted. That's awesome. And you really hope that they take it and read it and take action on it. That would be great, and it's great that there are these books out there that that have this knowledge in them that people just aren't getting exposed to. I didn't know any of these doctors. I look at the list of books down in the description of my chat here, and I knew of none of these doctors prior to 901 days ago. And some of them I didn't learn about until, a little bit into this way of eating, or most of them I didn't learn about until I was well into eating this way. But having those resources, the available, and they, all of them have their own little kind of their own proprietariness to their diet or their program. But what you have to look at from a whole standpoint of all of the diets, eliminating the processed foods, getting rid of the oil, getting rid of the excess sugar. Those are all things that all of those doctors say. The added salt, I am a big fan of it just because I've been doing it for the past 900 days, and I can tell the difference between one day I have salt and another day I don't. And if I can tangibly feel that difference, then that difference must be making a physical difference within my body. And if it's causing me to live a 1% more stressful life, then it's not worth it, because even if it does give me that pleasure every now and then, if it makes the rest of my life a little bit more stressful, that adds up to a lot over time. And I've done I've worked really hard to try to eliminate the stress on my body. So, I was going to look. I don't think I've read that book. You actually were talking about the Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. That is it Ornish's book? It's one of the books that I've been back and forth about wanting to read. So I might check it out. But what I kind of, I might have to check that one out. But, and it would be great if they take it and they read it. I know I have a friend of mine that we get talking. Is Esselstyn It might be Esselstyn. Yeah. Or Stein. Is it Stein? I don't know. Esselstein. It's one of the ways. But yes, that's who wrote that book. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the books that I've wanted to read. And I know that Ornish is I can't remember the name of his books, but Undo It, I think might have been one of his, and maybe another one that were kind of on my list of books to read, but I haven't listened to one in a while. Let's see. What did I missed a comment here? Cindy says that she is currently reading The Pleasure Trap and she loves it. That's great. I'm glad you like The Pleasure Trap. I've listened to The Pleasure Trap like 3 or 4 times in that first year that I was doing the diet. I really enjoy it. It just speaks to me. And both of the authors, Goldhamer and Lisle, I really like both of their approaches for different reasons. And I definitely recommend the Pleasure Trap book. I think that it really lays things out there in a good manner that makes sense. And, and I think it makes sense from a natural standpoint, like we are grossly overstimulated, and we definitely suffer from diseases of excess. You said that they also have a cookbook as well for the Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease cookbook. Yes, I think I've heard that. But the big thing, if you got to get rid of those processed foods, you got to start putting the control of the food in your own, put the control of your food in your own hands. Gene here says they got started from Dr. McDougall book. Okay. And Stephanie here says, hi, John and family. Sorry I'm late, but happy to be here. Happy to have you here. Just kind of going on a little bit about trying to be a good example and hoping people see that example and they pick up on that example. And, that by being that example, you're going to see the results that you want to see, and that might influence them to start making changes in that direction. Like the one thing that I know for sure is that even if my family doesn't start eating this way, that they're going to see that it can be done this way. And maybe that keto way, that low carb, carnivore, starvation, moderation, diet world that they're being influenced by when I'm not around, maybe I can help stifle some of that influence in them, and them not be, so convinced that a keto diet is the only way to lose weight. I'm sure I know dozens of people that their mindset is that, well, I lost weight on keto before, so keto is the only way I can lose weight. But you didn't sustain the weight, so did you really lose weight from keto? But in their head, they're just stuck on the fact that keto helped them lose 20 pounds. Keto helped them lose 40 pounds. They don't think about, well, failing the keto diet caused me to gain 50 pounds. It caused me to gain 70 pounds. They just think about the success they had when they were on the diet, and then they blame their own willpower for why the diet failed. They say, oh, I failed eating a keto diet because I couldn't resist apples. I couldn't resist grapes and bananas and foods that are taste wonderful to us. Of course you can't resist them because they're what we're designed to eat. But they just get it in their head that keto was the only thing that caused them to lose weight, and they failed the diet. But what they don't realize is that the diet fails their nature. We're designed to consume calories. We're designed to conserve energy. And, you know, we just aren't meant to be eating in moderation and then working our asses off to lose the weight. It doesn't make sense. Do you see any animals out there that are pushing away their plates and saying, oh, I'm not going to eat all of that? You know, like they just, or do you see them? Yeah. Do you see them eating until they're full, eating in all of what's in front of them? And when they do that, they're still not running around overweight. Yet we're sitting here going, oh, I'm only going to eat half a plate of food. I'm only going to eat a single serving of this food. And then we're still overweight. You know, it's not natural for that. It's not natural, the food environment that we are here. Jean says you found the candy grapes. You haven't tried them yet. They are in your trunk. They are really good, so I think you'll enjoy them. Stephanie says, woohoo, congratulations on this week's weight loss. Yes, I was so happy to lose that 5 pounds this week. Get me down to the lowest weight I've been so far since I started this challenge. Probably the lowest weight I've been since I was 17 years old. And let's see here. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this week's weigh-in. And I'm hoping that I can keep that momentum going. But, you know, I felt that way a lot of times within this whole challenge. And then the next week I kind of get hit in the gut with a slowdown. But I'll be happy with wherever I'm at next week, because at least it's not 520 pounds. Cindy here said that today a friend on Facebook posted a story against seed and canola oils. He said, I only eat lard, salted butter, avocado, and olive oil. Ugh. Yeah, gross. Pretty Girl's mom says yuck, or how yuck. Yeah, you know, I torture myself a little bit, and I follow some of the few carnivore or keto channels. I don't really, I know somebody said, I think the Keto Twins might have been doing YouTube for a long time, but a lot of the people that I find that are talking about their success on a carnivore diet or their success on a keto diet are within the first year of it, maybe the first 2 years of it. I don't see a lot of people that are on day 900. But that's real popular amongst that crowd, you know, to that crowd to eat the lard and the salted butter, and trying to avoid the seed oils. And I think that you absolutely should avoid seed oils. Everything you listed there, you should potentially avoid: the seed oils, the canola oil, the lard, the salted butter, the olive oil. The only one you listed there that might be something you can eat is avocado. But if you're trying to lose weight, I wouldn't eat avocado either. You know, maybe if you're at the weight you're trying to be at, or maintaining the weight that you're at, you might be able to eat avocado, but all of those just awful. And the idea that, why would adding more fat to a system that is overrun with fat improve the system? It doesn't make sense. That if you got a button factory and you got more buttons than you can fit in your storeroom, why would you keep ordering more buttons? You would stop ordering buttons. If you have too much fat, if you're overweight, stop putting fat in your body. If your body needs the fat, guess what? It's going to grab it off your butt. It's going to grab it off your right hip. It's going to grab it off from underneath your armpit. You know, like your body, if you are like I was or am now, my body, if it needs fat, it's got plenty to choose from. Why would you add fat to the system? It doesn't make sense that you would do that. And adding any amount of fat is going to slow down the potential fat burning you could of your own fat. So even if you're in this idea of eating a keto or carnivore diet, you should still cut your fat down to as close to zero as possible because you have plenty of fat. Why would you add fat? Because your body is, your system's going to burn the fat that you bring in from the outside source before it tries to burn the fat on your hips. So it just doesn't make sense. Yes, everybody says it sounds awful. Yeah, Cindy says that that person sounds like a keto diet follower. Yeah, and that's something where they see that path. They see these people saying, look at the success I had with my keto diet. But where are these people 5 years later, 10 years later? Everybody I know in my personal life that has lost weight with keto has gained it back eating the way they used to eat before. So I just don't know if it's sustainable. I want to see examples of sustained weight loss from somebody who was grossly overweight. Let's see here. Plants Only Muncher says, during the Gut Summit, Cyrus Kambata from Mastering Diabetes said people on a keto diet are in insulin resistance even if they are low weight. Yeah, the Mastering Diabetes YouTube channel is really a great place if you have diabetes and are looking to eat this way, for a lot of resources. But yeah, I think that what ends up happening is that they don't put sugar in their body, and so their body doesn't have to deal with processing sugar. So they use the abstinence from sugar to mask or to keep their body from having this negative reaction. But then when they have some amount of sugar, their body is so it's so unprepared for that change that it can cause issues. And so yeah, and just because you get the weight off doesn't mean that you cure all of your health issues. Like that's something that with like the swelling in my legs, I'm 200 pounds down, but if I had a big sodium meal, or if we went out and had something processed like we did kind of that second year, I would notice in my leg that the swelling would come back very quickly. It was swelling that didn't show up until I got up over 400 pounds. But as soon as I go off diet, it comes back right away. It doesn't come back when I get back up over 400 pounds. So some of these conditions are conditions that they take time to heal. It's not just, any damage that I did to my cardiovascular system over the 38 years of torture I put it through, they're not all healed in the last 901 days. I may be in much better condition, far superior condition than I was before, but it doesn't mean that I'm 100% healed, or I'm out of the woods, or I've not, I didn't do permanent lasting damage to myself in the 38 years that I was alive and allowed myself to get up over 500 pounds. Let's see here. Jean here says that usually her weight loss is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's definitely been the way for me, with this. When I first started, I might have had, 100 steps forward before I had 1 step back. But now as I go and my body weight's regulated, I've reached that behavioral equilibrium between what the energy I expend in a day and the energy that I bring in from the food that I eat. I have those ups and downs. January, I lost 10 pounds. February, I gained 10 pounds. And then now I'm back down and have lost that 10 pounds again, so it goes up and down and back and forth, but the overall trend is the direction I want it to go. Let's see here. Yeah, and Jean here says that the trend down is all that she cares about. Since the Chef AJ reboot, she's been on a steady downward and increasingly your fasting time. Okay, that's great. That you're continuing to see the weight go down, and then you are increasing your fasting window. Is that what you're saying? And Pretty Girl's mom is saying that her body doesn't give up on the pounds very easily. She's had to, she's just weighing in once a month. And the next time that you weigh in is May 1st. Yeah, everybody has a different relationship with the scale. If your diet is compliant, the scale isn't going to influence your weight loss. If you're 100% compliant, then you're going to be losing 100% of the weight that you could possibly lose in that week. So I think that focusing on being compliant is really far more important than trying to focus on the weight that comes off. Because had I never got on the scale since I started this challenge, that doesn't mean I wouldn't have lost 250 pounds. It just means I wouldn't have been able to record it and see it as it was happening. But the sum of all of the food I've eaten over the past 900 days has resulted in a 250-pound deficit in my weight. The scale, it helped me keep an eye on that, and it helped me make decisions based off of what it said, but it was my food choices that made me lose weight. It wasn't my getting on and off the scale. Some days I would get on and off the scale so many times I probably would get a workout just trying to get that weight to come down, but not really. So yeah, everybody has a different relationship with the scale. I was talking about that with my physical therapist this morning. My relationship with the scale is very much like I'm happy when it's down, and it's the scale's fault when I'm up. It's not my fault. It was just, something was wrong with the calibration that day. But I've been weighing myself since I was in 3rd grade, and I started doing wrestling tournaments, and I would walk around the tournaments with my hand, my weight written on my hand. And generally I was the biggest kid in my age group. So it was the biggest number anybody else around me had written on their hand. So, I used to have to walk around with my weight on my hand proudly at one point in my life, right? I don't know if proudly, but so my relationship's different, like I went through high school weighing myself like all the time with wrestling, and now I love using it as a tool. It's not a punishment. It's a tool that if I get on the scale and I'm, up a little bit, then I can reevaluate what I've eaten for the past few days and kind of decide what I need to change, or if there was something new that I ate within that time that I need to go back to avoiding again. So, but yeah, if you have to do it once a month, it doesn't matter how often you weigh if you're being compliant. That should be the focus, is the compliance, the trying to stay within, your acceptable boundaries for your diet. Cindy said Chuck Carroll was over 400 pounds and he now weighs about 145 pounds at 5.5 feet tall. And he's been doing this for 13 years. Yeah, he's a great example of somebody who has been eating this way for a very long time, has been able to lose the weight, keep the weight off. And Pretty Girl's mom says Chuck is the weight loss champion. And then, yes, he did have bariatric surgery initially, but then he switched to eating this way, which I think would probably be more difficult than just switching to eating this way, because eating this way requires eating a decent amount of volume. So I'm sure he has to kind of take that into consideration when he eats versus maybe somebody who doesn't. But I'm coming for his belt. If he's the weight loss champion and he's lost, 255 pounds, I'm only 5 pounds away from taking the belt, right? But let's see. Gene here says is asking about somebody who wrote donuts to vegetables. I'm not sure who wrote donuts to vegetables. And Stephanie here says that she thinks her name is Esther Loveridge, and she will be on Be Green with Amy the first part of next month. So somebody who wrote a book from donuts to vegetables sounds like what my diet was. Mine was probably burgers to potatoes. Cindy says you'll get that belt. Yeah. But I think I would have to get, to a healthy weight because I'm about a half a foot taller than him if he's 5'5". So, I suppose, I would be able to get to a bigger weight, based off of that. But yes. Yeah, there's lots of great examples I know of people, or I've seen of people that have lost weight. And I feel like it's, for me, this is so much more sustainable. Like I don't have, I see all these people from burgers to broccoli, Gene says, there you go. Oh, Stephanie says the name of it was From Donuts to Potatoes, not From Donuts to Vegetables. But yeah, it's so crazy trying to, influence people or get people to try to eat a certain way. And, for me too, a big thing is that I'm not there yet. I'm still 50 pounds from my goal. And I know that when, so for me right now, every pound I lose puts me at a lighter weight than anybody who I've ever known would remember me at. Everybody I ever met in college remembers me at a heavier weight than this. Anybody who I really met in high school probably remembers me at this weight or heavier. Anybody I've met since I started working or in the last 15 years has only known me at a heavier weight than I'm at now. So when they see me, they're going to see a much thinner version of myself. From pizza to polenta. There you go. That's a good one too. I like that. Or from meatballs to mega veggie chili, or something like that. So, these last 50 pounds is where I really am hoping that my beacon of light that is shining, it gets brighter and more people start to notice it. And hopefully those people around me start to ask questions or start to at least consider that there's another option. I think so many of us are convinced that the only option out there for us is to eat a low carb diet because that's what's getting presented to us. And a big reason why it's getting presented to us is because somebody's got to make money, and nobody's making money off of broccoli or potatoes. Nobody's making big money off of cauliflower or rice. They're making the big money when they get to throw that thing in a box and they can add a little bit of something or take a little something away from it. And they can say, this is our proprietary mix. This is the only place where you can get this flavor of chip, this flavor of, whatever it is that's, and so then that exclusivity allows them to have a markup, and that's where they get profit, because everything that we see, everything that's presented in front of us is done so for somebody else's profit. You know, that somebody is, when you're driving down the road, the signs you see on the side of the road, the influence that they have on you, the ads you see on television or hear on your radio, you know, it's millions and millions of dollars spent to target you as an individual. You know, it may be thousands of people that are hearing this message, but that $1 million they put into creating that message, you still get hit with the full brunt of that message, because we're just individuals and we're getting hit by it, and we don't have the protection that we thought we had. We're not as protected from corporations or from the corporate greed as we assume we are. You know, we think that the FDA makes sure that all of our food is safe, but do they make sure it's safe, or do they make sure it's safe enough? You know, like, there's a difference. And there's so much of that person gets to choose whether or not they want to have that unhealthy thing in their body. So it's their fault that they chose to eat this food that we engineered to be extremely addictive and that almost nobody can resist. But, but I bet you can't eat just one, that's the marketing campaign, just, and that's how they get us. That's how they get you. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I really appreciate everybody being on stream and participating today with the conversation. It is Thursday, which means I'm not sure about tomorrow's live stream. I know we have some things going on with our kids, so I will try to get on the live stream tomorrow, but I cannot make any promises. But thank you guys for all the support. This week was a great week with the 5-pound weight loss. Maybe I can match it again next week and have another 5-pound weight loss. That'd be amazing. That'd be at my goal weight in, a matter of 10 weeks. If I could just lose 5 pounds a week, why not? Right. And it's a whole different conversation, but thank you guys so much. Everyone have a great night. We will see you tomorrow. We're having vegetable barley soup for dinner tonight. I'm very excited about that. That's one of the newer recipes that we've been enjoying. And so I'm excited to get home and eat some vegetable barley soup. So thank you guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. If you've not clicked on the bell icon, make sure that you click on the bell icon so you can alert when I go live or post new videos. Hit that thumbs up on the video or the like button on the video. And if you have not started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. And nobody reaches their goals, looks back and wishes they would have waited. Everybody wishes they would have gotten started sooner. So get started right now. I will talk to you guys later.